Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be upcoming and recent events, recognition of citizens, and approval of ceremonial travel by council if needed.
Sure, Councilmember Flora will start first.
Thank you, Mayor. Just have a short presentation here to wrap up the events that we had tail end of this past year. December 14th, Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD hosted their holiday open house, and it was especially significant for them because they have a new central administration build, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Councilmember Crane.
Yeah, quick announcement. I think I announced in December that Katie Wary was leaving the District 3 office. So I just wanted to point out Jack Carvalho here has rejoined the District 3 office, and Danelle Mason is here joining as well as District Director and District Liaison. So thank y'all for helping me out, helping the citizens out. I appreciate it.
Councilmember Firestone.
Thank you, Mayor. So before Christmas break, I was honored to attend the dedication of Perot Field at Alliance, a really special day. Of course, that was named after the visionary Ross Perot. It was a very moving dedication and a lot of great stories about Mr. Perot and the history and his personality. Loved to play practical jokes on people and special friends, and we heard about that and really personalized, I think, today quite a bit.
The process. I have a few announcements. This Saturday, the Stop 6 MLK Parade will be happening at 11 a.m. It will start in District 8 at the Renaissance Square, right there by the Walmart, 2900 Renaissance Square, Fort Worth, Texas. We will start the parade at 11 o'clock, and we'll go down to Berry and end up at the park. We'll bar the park. Thank you, Gina, Mayor Pro Tem. We'll bar the park with festivities, so come out and support the parade. Also, on Monday, we will have the MLK Parade downtown Fort Worth, January the 16th, 2023. Registration starts in person at 8 a.m. Check-in is at 9:30, and parade line starts at 10 a.m. Also, I am grateful and excited to announce that we are back live on Facebook here at our meeting. So I'm gonna ask you if you can go on Facebook and look up Fort Worth TV, spell it out, Fort Worth, and then the letter TV. We are live currently right now, so you can share it on social media. You can also like and follow it so everybody can stay engaged in the process. So I want to thank my council as well as Renee and all those that make this possible. So we're back making sure that the community has a voice. Thank you. Those are my announcements.
So we've got one upcoming event, and for those of you that are interested in what we're doing to make New City Hall a more sustainable place to house our city government, we will be hosting.
Our enthusiasm as a city, can't wait to see what next year brings. Coach Dykes, Max Dugan, that entire team are young men on the field, off the field, of high character and integrity, and I can't wait to see what they do next. So go Frogs, and with that, I'll...
on this particular issue. I'm a resident of Fort Worth for 65 years. I know Hillside Park like the back of my hand. I know Hillside Park before there was ever a community center there. Renaming the community center, in my opinion, would be a rebirth of change in the city of Fort Worth. There are new avenues that we need to travel in the city of Fort Worth. I know a lot of my opponents mention the historical aspect of Hillside Park. They mention their memories of Hillside Park. Well, here's the memory of mine. 50 some odd years ago, I made this pottery in Hillside Park. I still have it. It's a memory. Hillside Park is slated to be, well, the recreation center is slated to be revamped, rebuilt. Where are the memories going to go then? When you push the building down, I'm still gonna remember making this pottery in that building. My children played in Hillside Recreation Center. Their children are playing in Hillside Recreation Center. Change needs to come to Fort Worth, Texas. Change needs to come to the south side of Fort Worth, Texas. And Hillside is going to be the beacon of change on the south side of Fort Worth. I'm asking that you vote yes to rename the center in memorial of Dr. Thomas Jefferson. Changing the name is not going to hurt anybody's memory unless you have Alzheimer's. Not to make fun of Alzheimer's because my grandmother had it and I took care of her for 7 years. What I'm saying is, progress isn't an easy thing to achieve, but it's achievable. I just recently learned of the opposition to this, although it's been spoken of down here for over 2 years almost. It's on the agenda, it should be voted on, and it should be voted for. Dr. Jefferson, thank you.
Our next speaker is Cliff Sparks, followed by Natasha Nelson, which will be a phone call.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Cliff Sparks, living in District 9, Elizabeth Beck. I just want to give a couple of shout outs to Chris Nettles for your hard work, Elizabeth Beck, Jared Williams. I'm here because the renaming of the Tatiana of the Hillside Community Center. I really believe that it should be voted on and it should go through. For the people that's against it, where have you been the last 3 years? Have you contacted family and said, how you doing? Are you okay? What do you need? Instead of that, you guys want to complain about this, complain about that. You ain't showing no support to the family. You was there at first, the first day. Where were you at for 3 years? It's quiet as a rat house mouse right now. Because they know who I'm talking to. And they know what's up. So with that being said, all you fake preachers that's against it, sit down somewhere. Let the council do what they need to do to pass this thing. And show love and support to the family. This will keep a Tatiana memory alive. So for those that's against it, go to hell.
Our next speaker is Natasha Nelson, followed by Giselle Leak.
Ms. Nelson? Go ahead, you have 3 minutes, please.
Yes, good evening to the mayor and the city council. What I would like to say is, for the past 3 years, you guys have had your rights taken away from you. Then you silent, where you could not say a word with anything that had to do with the Tatiana Jefferson and her justice. That time is over now. You guys are free. You have your amendment right back, and it's time for you to exercise the power that you hold within those seats. And it's time for you to speak out from everything that you held on to for so long throughout this long course to get justice for this woman whose life was taken away. Now, we do have opposers to this, but I can tell you this. You guys have been connected to the preachers and the churches for too long. And it's time to build a strong connection with the people, the ones that are actually making moves and making things happen. Connection with these churches. We don't attend their churches. We're not members of their congregation. They do not speak for us. And this is the time for you to exercise your vote and make sure you're loud and clear in naming this after Tatiana Jefferson. The churches don't clean up there. They haven't adopted the area to pick up litter. They don't take care of it. They don't have any events there. They don't have summer camp there. Back to school programs. They have no involvement whatsoever. So to hold on to their history that has their name attached to it. But guess what? It's 2023, and this is Fort Worth's new history. And you guys have the opportunity to be a part of that history and to make history because you've been quiet for so long. So we're not going to listen to the preachers and the pastors. We're going to listen to the people whose kids play there, like you heard Mr. James say, the people who actually go there and attend the community center. Hold on to this old history any longer. So I beg you and I ask that you please do the right thing the same way the jury did, and give us justice and let us memorialize the Tatiana Jefferson. far as we can take it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Seychelle Week. I think it's also a phone call, followed by Donnell Ballard, phone call.
Can y'all turn up the volume? Yeah, because we can't hear anything.
She tried on that call. We'll see if this one's any better.
Speaker,
Yes, this is Seychelle Week.
please go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, good evening. This is Seychelle Week. Mr. Firestone is the representative of my district. I'm calling in on behalf of the renaming of Hillside Community Center. We would love to have it renamed after Tatiana Jefferson. The city has been through so much through this journey. Zion plays at that park frequently. We have so many events there for the last 3 years, and it would just be a wonderful way to honor the family. The judicial system did their part by giving us a taste of justice, and now it is on y'all's behalf to give it a little bit more of an honor. Amber is currently in the hospital fighting for her life, and it would just mean nothing more to her than to have that community center renamed. So I really hope that you guys do the right thing and vote yes. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Donnell Ballard, followed by Claudine Brenner.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Donnell Ballard, community leader and a former resident. I used to live out there. I played at the Hillside Recreation Center. And I think it's more important now for us to remember who Tatiana Jefferson is. And what better way for us to remember Tatiana Jefferson with that recreation center being renamed after her. After 3 years, we need something different in our community. And I think, I agree with Cliff Sparks. On this one, we can't listen to the minister. We got to listen to what the people want. It is not about the minister. It is about what the people in this community want. And I believe that we should get behind Christians and get behind the family and making sure that we rename this recreation center after someone who has made a major impact for the past 3 years in this community. So I don't know what the minister's doing, but I am voting yes on making sure that her legacy lives on for life. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Our next speaker is Claudine Brenner, followed by Kendra Richardson.
Claudine?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes. I called to speak in support, 100% unending support of renaming the Hillside Community Center in honor of Mrs. Tatiana Jefferson. This would not only be a beautiful tribute to the up-and-coming young medical professional whose life was so tragically cut short, but I also see this as a tribute to how beautifully the community came together and stood strong through consistent attacks and adversity. I may live in District 6, but my children grew up playing youth sports at Hillside Community Center. I've taken walks with Zion to that community center and to the park to just take a moment and step away from the madness and be a child. And I can't imagine how wonderful it would be for him to visit that park and see Tatiana's name. Renaming this community center will give our youth a powerful name to look up to and provide a reminder to our youth that we are creating a future for them, not some rich white guy, not who we so love to name things after, but our children who frequent this community, who are coming up in this community and need something that they can relate to and be proud of. A place with a name and a legacy for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Kendra Richardson, followed by Rukia Carey. Is Kendra here? Kendra.
She wants to be called.
Can we call her, Kendra? We'll get whip call ready. Next call is Rukia Carey. We can't make the system work. Okay. Next, can you call Rukia Carey? Is that one ready? Okay, great.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is
is Kia Carey. I live in District 6, and I always have as long as I've lived in Fort Worth. I am an Army veteran, as well as a stay-at-home mom to two beautiful little Black boys who I would love to be able to show them this new community center as a sign of hope. And I would truly for them to see an example being set by city officials. This is a new history, as so many others have said, because it is a new year. And I truly believe that Fort Worth is stuck in the same cycle of doing things the same way. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. It is not working. And I definitely did not serve this country to see an innocent life taken just for that woman's need to be demonized. What is so bad about celebrating the life of a woman who has changed the history of our great city? It just doesn't compute. And those who are opposing it, I really need everyone to understand that we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for an officer taking the law into his own hands. So the very least that the council members can do is change the name. The world will not end. If anything, it'll make our world in Fort Worth, Texas, a much more beautiful world and a closer community. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Patrice Jones, followed by Alonda Massey.
Hello, council and Mayor Parker. Y'all know that I'm in complete support of renaming Hillside to a Tatiana. My whole thrust into activism is actually was birthed on the Tatiana Jefferson. I actually came to the city in June of 2020 to see if I can get a mural for Tatiana Jefferson placed on Hillside Community Center. And guess what? The city told me no. So I found my own private building to have the mural right down the street from her home. And based on me getting that no, I'm really surprised that we even have to be here today. I thought renaming Hillside to Tatiana was like a done deal. I didn't realize there was any opposition. I'm very disappointed there is opposition. And yeah, I just, the jury did the right thing. We keep talking about that. We waited over 3 years for justice for this family. And it just only makes sense to leave something for her. I know that Mr. James had efforts to want to rename 35 after Tatiana. Not sure what happened with that. I know it was never changed. I know that Botham John, the street was actually renamed after Botham John in Dallas. But if you look at Allen, there's just toppers of the Tatiana Jefferson's name. It's not like we renamed the whole street after her, which Dallas did that. So the least that we can do, we're here literally begging for a community center that's directly behind her home, that her family works with, that my organization is going to work with, and we're in full support of this. I hope that y'all can find it in y'all hearts to do the right thing, just rename the center. I know it was, I know we couldn't get police oversight, but I just hope that, y'all can give us this. We are always begging for crumbs, so let us have this one, y'all.
Our next speaker will be Kendra Richardson, followed by Alonda Massey. Alonda, hold on just a second. We got Kendra on the phone. I apologize. You were quick though. Thank you.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I apologize for my absence. I'm actually supposed to be there in person, but I got caught up in traffic coming from work. My name is Kendra Richardson. I'm the founder of Funky Town Fridge, a community fridge ran by the community here in Fort Worth, Texas. And I wanted to just make sure that I said what I needed to say in order to let the city know and whoever's watching know that I am indeed in favor of renaming the community center after Tatiana Jefferson. I think that this city owes her that, and the city government owes her that, not just that, but her family. And they actually owe her way much more than that,
considering that their police was the reason of this woman's demise and the reason why we want to memorialize her name in the first place. I think she deserves it and her family deserves it, and her family deserves way more than that from the city of Fort Worth. And that is, in renaming that community center is just the bare minimum of what y'all can give to that family, considering all that y'all taken away from her. So y'all can give, we can give them at least this one thing to let them know that the city is standing behind them and not just a 10-year manslaughter case. And that's all I have.
Our next speaker is Alonda Massey, followed by Anthony Humphrey.
Mayor, council members, good evening. My name is Alonda Massey. I live at 4729 Pine Ridge in Mr. Williams District. I own property at 1114 East Jefferson in Mr. Nettles District. And I had a statement written here, but I'm gonna read it because I'm sort of moved by everything that I've heard. I want to express my disagreement with Mr. Nettles' proposal to change the name of Hillside Rec Center without a town hall meeting. That's what I'm asking you to do, Mr. Nettles, is to open it up outside of here, outside of this chamber, and hear from more than the people that have attended here in the past to show support for Ms. Jefferson and everything that happened to her, which, by the way, we do. And we think that the council should do things to honor Ms. Jefferson's legacy. But we need to be able to talk to more people than just the ones that have attended here. In 2021, I want you to know that we had a Hillside reunion where people who grew up there came out of our pockets, rented out the Hillside Center. Nobody here spoke about that because they weren't there. But we rented the center. We didn't have any contributions from a church, no organization, no corporate industry. We did it, and we had a reunion there, and we celebrated our time that we spent at Hillside. I did it, my parents did it, my children did it. I grew up there. There were people who contributed to the Hillside community, like Miss Winston, Miss Irvin, DeWitt Booker, Julius. They contributed to the community. So if you want to rename it, I think it's worth hearing more of the community's opinion about it, because there were other people that actually, this is not about Miss Jefferson's legacy, but this is about, there were other people that also contributed to the Hillside community, and we want to be heard. We want you to come and listen to what we have to say about other people. Mr. Hogan is right there. His cousin was killed at Hillside. Most of these people that are speaking and calling in don't know that. We were there. So there are more people that are here and that are around and that are from that area that would like to be heard. This is not about the legacy. I cannot stress that because I can't stress it enough, because we supporting this city, this council supporting Ms. Jefferson's legacy, but give us a chance to speak too. Please, thank you for your service.
Our next speaker is Anthony Humphrey, followed by Adrian Smith.
Mayor, he dropped off and we have not been able to get
Mr. Humphrey.
reconnected.
Okay, is Adrian still here? There it is. Adrian coming up. Adrian will be followed by Douglas Spellman.
To the historic Southside community, the Hillside community, those who are here tonight on behalf of this proposition. Before I came here tonight, I was able to catch a news coverage from WFAA stating that there was a division within a community when it's coming to this particular proposal. I just want to say to WFAA, anyone who feel that there's a division, that I feel that it's not a division, however, there's a need for understanding. The Bible reminds us, with all that getting understanding. We know this is an election year, and I'm not gonna go into that. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us not to judge a man by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. Hate isn't a complexion dynamic, but a character dynamic. Racism isn't a complexion dynamic, but a character dynamic. Consideration isn't a complexion dynamic, but a character dynamic. For people who say that this community is not together, I want to remind people that this community is together. We do recall this, right? This just happened like, what, maybe a month ago? This right here? Seems to me that this community was together when it came to ensuring that this rogue police officer was convicted for the murder of Mr. Tatiana Jefferson. So to this community, to those who are, seem like there's a division, you all, let's not leave her with that in the air, because I don't believe there's a division. I believe that there just needs to be some understanding, some better understanding. Come on now. And as the sister stated, Ms. Nettles, this does solely falls up on your shoulders, sir, because this is your district. So, as y'all see, I'm on neutral ground. I'm neutral. But I think what the sister stated, it wouldn't be nothing wrong with it to have a community town hall. I don't see nothing wrong with that. See nothing wrong with that. So, as I take my seat, you all remember, this didn't start 3 years ago. It actually started 7 years ago. Don't forget about Jackie and Craig. And don't forget that this council had an opportunity back on November 8th to join together the community in policing with an agenda item. But they voted it down.
Yeah.
I got receipts. The Fort Worth Star Telegram, I have receipts. The Fort Worth Council rejects policy advisory board, sinking key equity recommendation. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Douglas Spellman, followed by Gregory Wesley.
My name is Douglas Spellman, and my name is Douglas Spellman to the council and the mayor, and this is not in opposition to the legacy of Miss Jefferson, but this is in support of an institution. Hillside Park was there before Fort Worth had single-member districts. Hillside Park was there before it was even assigned a zip code, 76104. We're talking about an institution. For those that want to throw history away and forget it, well, that's your option. But I choose not to. And like I say, this is not in opposition to Miss Jefferson's legacy, because that was a tragedy that should never have happened. But this is about an institution. Hillside is an institution. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Gregory Wesley, followed by Francis Beeman.
Council members, dignitaries, my name is Gregory Wesley. I live in Forest Hills, actually, my mom's old house. My mother is Mrs. Doris Jean Winston. The time Hillside opened until her retirement in 1997, she worked there tirelessly. She lived and breathed Hillside. She was there from the time it opened until she retired in 1997. Even then, she was the last one to leave. During that time, she made sure Hillside provided the community with everything that was afforded the more affluent areas. She was not going to allow the children of the community to be shortchanged because we were the South Side. She was always told no, but she refused to accept no for an answer. My mother would not accept the things she could not change, so she changed the things she could not accept. That's why she fought for wood basketball floors. She fought for additional room for events in the kitchen to provide cooking lessons. She fought for the swimming pool. She fought to provide experiencing, attending plays at Casa Mañana, going to the museum, exposing kids to things that they would not otherwise be exposed to. My mother and the staff, Julian Russell, Margaret Irving, DeWitt Booker, and Philly Young, in collaboration with Ms. Lucia Williams and the Hillside Morningside Association, provided Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners, ceramic classes, and employment opportunities. Let's not forget about the kids. Hillside was the only center to have skate night. Then there were the basketball teams, cold blue and softball teams that dominated the karate programs and after-school tutoring and GED programs she provided. The first tee golf program coming up, intervention to game provision, and addition of weight room. My mother was the community, and the community was my mother. That being said, I don't oppose the legacy of Atiana Jefferson. It was a tragedy, for sure. However, what the community is asking for, like he said, the town hall meeting, they're asking for an opportunity to have a say-so. Because they have people, like my mother, who they believe are also deserving of the community center name. And what I'm trying to get you to understand, Hillside was a rec center. It was not a community center. She could have sat there and rolled out basketball, pool balls, and all those things. But she chose to get involved in the community. And she had a deep connection with it, and they had a deep connection with her, along with her staff. And so like all the people have said, we have nothing against you. Named Tatiana Jefferson.
Thank you,
However,
Mr. Wesley.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Frances Beeman by phone, followed by LaDonna Myers.
Ms. Beeman?
Evening, council, council members, Mayor. I'm sorry, I'm at the hospital, but I do believe Hillside should stay Hillside. I'm sorry for the death of Javier Jefferson, but we should do something else and make her legacy live on. We can, when they do